Umar Nurmagomedov versus Song Yadong makes absolutely zero sense. It makes absolutely zero sense. And in this video, I want to discuss why I think this matchup makes no sense, when this is going to be taking place, and then we will ultimately, because the matchup is booked, there's nothing we can do about it at this point, break it down and discuss what we are looking at, because it's still an interesting fight, right? It's still an interesting fight. However, this just goes back to what I've kind of been talking about, guys. Look, the UFC is in an aspect, right, where Dana White is the guy that keeps talking about rankings. He's like, Khalil Rountree's ranked number 8. He should be in the top 5 because Hill lost to Poatan and Yuri lost to Poatan. But Roundtree has 0 wins over anyone in the top 5, right? And you take a guy like Umar Nurmagomedov. Dana keeps talking about rankings and how they matter. We've seen Bilal Muhammad. We've seen Merab. These guys who have been waiting in the wings forever to get a title shot, but business comes first, which is completely understandable. I get that maybe it'll piss people off, but I get from the UFC's angle that they're going to ultimately take the business route. However, don't say that rankings, that you want rankings to matter and you don't want Roundtree in the top 5, because how does that make any sense? You got Umar Nurmagomedov, who's the number 1 contender right now, who should be fighting for the title, right? He should be fighting Merab next. I've been saying, I think Merab wants no parts of that fight, right? He keeps bringing up the Sean O'Malley rematch, and I kind of get it, right? From the side of Merab, it's like, well, why would I want to fight the most complete guy and probably the best all-around mixed martial artist in the division in Umar Nurmagomedov, because he proved that against Cory Sandhagen, who Cory is also one of the most well-rounded guys in the division. Why would you want that fight when you can go in there and fight Sean O'Malley again, who you already have a victory over? He's one of the biggest names in the division. He's not a huge draw, but he's still a draw. And you get to go in there and beat up on Dana's boy. Like, I get why Merab wants that fight, and he basically will win that matchup probably 9 out of 10 times from what we saw at UFC 306. However, this is just unfair to Umar, man. It's unfair to Umar. And people want to talk about, the Dagestani privilege, and Umar got to fight Cory Sandhagen. Here's the thing. One, there was no one wanted to fight Umar Nurmagomedov, right? He's a guy that comes over, he has a wealth of experience, he's undefeated, they hear the last name, and people kind of get shy. They're like, I don't want to take a risk, I don't want to take that matchup. And the UFC saying, look, no one wants to fight this guy. You beat this dude, you're getting a title shot next. Like, if Cory Sandhagen beat Umar Nurmagomedov, I think he'd be fighting right now Merab for the title. I really do. I don't know that they would go to the Sean O'Malley rematch, but this just shows you how the UFC kind of picks and chooses what they're doing. Now, I know people are going to mention, why did he get Cory Sandhagen? Well, he got Cory Sandhagen, in my opinion, because the UFC, yes, they like Khabib and they like his team, but was Cory not one of the hardest fights for Umar in the division? Think about it for a second. All of us up here, we're kind of talking about Umar versus Cory. I don't really know. I think Umar can get it done, but Cory's so well-rounded. He's got good striking. He's got good submissions. His grappling has improved. He's kind of picking and choosing how he wants to beat guys. He's maybe the most well-rounded guy. This is going to be a hard fight for Umar. So to say that they just gave Umar a guy in the top of the division, they gave him a hard fight, man. They gave him a really, really hard fight. Just like when people are like, oh, why does Ikram get to fight Whitaker? He stepped in on short notice to fight a guy in Robert Whitaker who's one of the best middleweights of all time. And a lot of the times, guys are deers in headlights and they get destroyed. Like, Umar's not some new kid on the block in the UFC, yes, but he has a wealth of experience. And you know the UFC, when you had the last name Nurmagomedov, whenever you're a teammate of Conor McGregor or, some of those different guys, they're going to give you a little bit of a special treatment. So to sit there and say that, this and that, guys, the UFC screwing Umar out of a title shot here. However, behind the scenes, is there something going on where Merab is maybe injured and something along those lines, and that's why he can't turn around and fight Umar right now? Okay, then we'll pump the brakes there, and I get it, and Umar wants to stay active, so he's fighting Song Yadong. Now, let's get to the point of what I don't like about this matchup is, okay, title shots off the table. That's, it's not fine, but okay, you're not getting the title shot. You want the guy to get another win, right? Because that's the argument from other people. Oh, well, you don't get to beat one guy in the top of the rankings and then get a title shot, which I think you should. If you could get through Cory Sandhagen, you absolutely should get a title shot. But let's say that's your argument, okay? For argument's sake, no problem. Fight a guy in the top 5. Fight a guy in the top 5 again. Why are we giving him the number 8 ranked Song Yadong? And people are going to go, well, certain guys are booked and certain guys are... Where's Henry Cejudo? Where's he? He's the guy that's always doing these breakdowns and out there talking crap about everybody and making, remarks about everybody, and this guy sucks, that guy sucks, and yet he's lost how many in a row now? One of the worst and most embarrassing fake retirements or whatever that we've ever seen in Henry Cejudo. That completely backfired and practically ruined his career. And I'm coming after Cejudo a little bit here because he's the guy that's always talking about, I'm triple C, I'm the best, I'm an all-time great. And he just sits there and critiques, almost like he's trying to be like Conor McGregor, but kind of active, and I don't know what the deal is, but that's a fight that would have made sense to me. Henry Cejudo, I understand he's coming off of, people are going to say he's coming off a couple L's here. Song Yadong just lost to Petr Yan. And if you're talking about for the resume aspect, a win over Henry Cejudo, in my opinion, means more than a victory over Song Yadong. Now, it's not to shit on Song Yadong. I really like Song a lot. I think he's an outstanding fighter. I think he has outstanding power in his hands. I think he has pretty good grappling of his own. And let's get into the matchup. So while I think that this doesn't make a ton of sense because you have the number 1 guy fighting back against the number 8 guy, this isn't Alex Pineda taking on Roundtree because they're trying to make some sort of firefight that's going to basically be a striker's delight here. They're giving Umar a guy who, yes, Umar should absolutely steamroll Song Yadong. He should. But to me, this just seems a little weird, right? Because whenever the UFC does something like this, where it's like, okay, the guy should be fighting for the title, he should be getting a top 5 guy, they give you someone, and I always question, well, why are they doing that? Why are they giving him the number 8 ranked Song? And this is not a gimme fight for Umar. I mean, obviously, I think Umar is going to win, and I'm absolutely picking him to win the fight. But Song's dangerous. Song is incredibly dangerous. He's got legit power in his hands. He has some of the most power in his hands in the entire division. He's got some powerful leg kicks, and he has good grappling of his own. These guys at Team Alpha Male, and I know people are hard on the Team Alpha Male guys, but look, Song's got good takedown defense. He's got good grappling of his own, and we've seen against Petr Yan that he is able to stand in there and strike with some of the best of them. And I know that Umar Nurmagomedov, he is not the best striker in the division. Maybe he is. I don't know, but it's the full package that comes with Umar. And out of all the Nurmagomedovs, we've seen Usman over in PFL, Bellator, whatever. They got a weird merger going on there, but in the PFL, we've seen Usman Nurmagomedov, and he's a lot like Umar, this new aged kind of grappler that has outstanding striking. So coming into the fight, you have to worry about everything with Umar, and I just don't know how Song is going to be able to solve the riddle, which is, well, what is Umar going to do to me? Is he going to stand on the feet and outstrike me, or is he then going to level change and take me down and submit me? There's just so much to worry about, and that Team Khabib, when you have guys that are that well-rounded, what a luxury. I mean, you can sit back and come up with a game plan, and you're like, well, what do we want to do here? Do we want a leg kick? Do we want a jab? Do we want to, just grapple the whole time? Do we want to do a little bit of everything? Like, that is an absolute, from a coaching standpoint, what a luxury that is to have fighters that complete that you can pick and choose. And I just don't see how Song is going to be able to deal with Umar outside of the fact that Song is stocky. He's kind of a unit for the division. He's got a low center of gravity, and he has got some nasty power in his hands. So to say that this is some layup or some easy matchup for Umar, I don't think it is. I think he wins, don't get me wrong, but there's risk here. There's risk because whenever you're taking a guy who should be fighting for the title and they're fighting back against somebody here, there's not much for Song to lose and a lot to gain. Could you imagine if Song pulled off an upset here? I mean, it'd be crazy. It would be absolutely crazy. So this just kind of makes me feel like with Magomed Ankalaev, he's taking on Alexander Rakic coming up here. It's like, well, Ankalaev should have gotten a title shot. Okay, he's not. Fine. We're going to give him Rakic, who's coming off a loss to Yuri. Like, why are they booking that fight? And then you look at stylistically what Rakic brings to the table. There's a lot of danger there, right? Ankalaev struggled with the leg kicks, and Rakic kind of has a style that Ankalaev probably won't be able to necessarily out-grapple him, maybe, but he's got to worry about the leg kicks. So it seems like it's just kind of a weird matchup for Ankalaev, like you're trying to give him a hard fight. And then when you give Umar a guy like Song, who it almost seems like you're going, who's got good grappling and got crazy power? Boom. Let's give him Song Yadong. So maybe I'm like overthinking it a little bit, but we get Dana over here talking about the rankings and the importance. You clearly don't value the rankings. So why are you worried about what Khalil Rountree's ranking is, Dana? I like Dana White. I'm just asking you a question. How are you going to sit there and say that the rankings matter, for Roundtree? You're so worried about it, but then you're going to give guys the guy who should be fighting for the title, you're going to give him the number 8 ranked guy. Like Song he's kind of a middle of the road guy in the division now. He's got good power. Yes, he's lost to some of the top guys in the division like Sandhagen and Yan, and he's still a talented guy. Why are you giving him Umar Nurmagomedov? Why? Why wouldn't you give him Henry Cejudo or someone that's a bigger name in the division? Someone coming off of a win in the division, right? I know Figgy and Yan are booked. Ideally, Figueiredo versus Umar, that would have been a great fight. So I get that they're booked, but to me, weird matchmaking, doesn't make a lot of sense. I just feel like Umar is getting screwed over in this situation because I understand wanting to be active. I completely understand that. But we've seen crazy things happen. I'm not saying Umar's going to lose. Like I said, I'm picking him to win the fight. Whenever this kind of stuff happens, it gets scary. It gets scary. So, but I want to hear from you all down in the comments. Like this video. Do you agree or disagree with me? Let me know your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you do not miss an upload. I appreciate you all. See you next time.